Summit. So this is a continuation of the video that we have just started. Now I went ahead and I did cut out all the pieces that we worked on yesterday. This is the back. Okay, so what I want you to do is to take this front piece, the front yoke, and what you're going to do, you're going to trace. So I'm going to put it together like this. Okay, like this. Unfold, because it doesn't, even though it's asymmetrical, you can still put it unfold like this, and you're going to trace out. You're going to trace out this part right here. So you're going to put it together like this, and you're going to trace out this little part right here, because you're going to need it to finish this little part right here. So I'm going to trace this. And you're going to put interfacing on it, because you just need this little part to finish this part of it. Okay, so you're going to put interfacing on this to finish it, up. Now let's talk about the lower part of this dress. All right, so I still have persons asking questions about they're confused about cutting circles. But if you think of it logically, I believe that you're going to be able to understand how circles work and how to incorporate them in your designs. Now, the lower part of this dress is a circle dress, and I'm going to use half circle to make the lower part. So whenever you're doing a half circle, this is a circle, right? Right? This is a circle. A circle can be divided into infinite amount of segments. Okay? So if I should cut my circle in two, right? I'm gonna have two half circles, one here and one here. Now we know that if we're making a full circle, our waist would be here, right? This would be our waist measurement, right? And that is why when you are making a full circle, you fold into four. Right? So this is 2, and you fold again, right? This, and you cut out your radius, right? And then you'll have a full circle. If I should fold this, say this is my radius and I cut it out, this is me folding in 4. If I should cut this out like this, oops. If I should cut this out like this, you're gonna see that I'm going to have a full circle. And this is why it's called a full circle, and that's why you fold into 4. Right? But so if I should open this, you're gonna see that I have a full circle, right? Isn't this a full circle? But I can also divide this out, cut this out, cut it here, and cut it here, and this would be still a full circle, but then I'm gonna have 2 half circles, right? And that is why you can use 2 half circles to make a full one. And in this case, if you're going to make a half circle, the radius doesn't change, but you can fold like this, and you could cut like this. So I folded this in 2, because there are persons who are still confused, right? This is my radius, okay, my waist, and this is the length. If I should cut it out like this, so mates, if I should cut it out like this, I fold it in two. Then I'm gonna have half of a circle, right? See? And that is why you have half circle skirt and full circle skirt. Now, you could divide up your circle into anything that you want. So here I have my circle. I'm gonna make a circle dress and I want the bottom to have a half circle. But because this dress have a full, have pockets in it, I cannot cut it like this, like I showed you a while ago, in half, because I'm going to only have the seam at the back to close up the skirt like this. This is what I'm going to have, and I'm not gonna have a side seam. You understand what I'm saying? So I cannot cut it this way in order to get pockets at the side. So what I will have to do is that I will have to take my half circle, see my half circle here, and divide it into two so that I have 2 quarter circles, right? 2 quarters make a half. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide my half circle, see my half circle, I'm going to divide it into 2, and I'm gonna get two quarter circles. So when I put these 2 quarter circles together, I'm gonna get half. Quarter at the back and quarter at the front. 2 quarters make a half, and then I'm going to be able to have my seam at the side to put my pockets. Okay, so in order to get it that way, I'm going to use 2 quarter circles to make a half circle, and I already explained that. Why? Because I want it to have 2 seams for the pockets. If I do it by just folding in 2 and cut it out, I'm not gonna have that seam in the side, and I need that. So how do I go about doing that? I'm going to take my waist and I'm gonna divide it into 2. Your full waist circumference, your distance around your waist, you have to divide it into 2 in order to get one at the back, and one at the front, right? So you're gonna divide your waist into 2. So her waist is 30 inches, and I'm gonna divide it into 2. I'm gonna get 15 inches. This is for the back. This 15 inches is for the back and the front. So if I put 15 together times 2 is gonna be 30. It's gonna give you our waist. So in order to calculate the quarter circle, you're going to take your new waist measurement, and I put new waist measurement because you're gonna need measurements, seam allowance at the side to put the pockets and to join it back together. So you're gonna take 15 inches plus 1 more inch for the side seam. You're gonna get 16 inches. Now in order to calculate a quarter circle, you're gonna take your circumference, which is this measurement right here, the 16, which is your waist measurement. You're gonna divide it by 2 pi. Why 2 pi? Because pi is 3.14. That's standard. That's something you can't change. And you're gonna multiply it by 2, and you're gonna divide it by a quarter, because now we're working with a quarter of a circle. Now, when you divide it by a quarter, you know, if you're dividing a fraction, you have to invert, right? You have to flip it. So it's gonna be 16, which is the measurement that I'm working it with, divided by 2 times pi, which is 6.28. 3.14 times 2 is 6.28, and you're gonna multiply it by 4/1, because now this get inverted. This, you have to invert this or flip it. So 4 goes to the top, that goes to the bottom. So now you're going to divide that, you're gonna get 10.25. Now this is the radius. Okay, so she wants her skirt length to be 30 inches. So I'll have to add that radius to it, which is 10.25 plus 0.5. So in all, I'm going to cut the fabric 40 by 75 inches. That's what you need. And this is, you're gonna do 1 for the back and one for the front. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how that is done right now. So it's to cut out this, you have to ensure that you have 40.25 on this side and 40/25 on this side. Now when you're cutting a quarter circle, you do not have to fold. So all you need to do is, so let me put it like this. On this side, you're going to go ahead and take your radius from the tip right here. From the tip right here, you could do that. Go ahead and take your radius, which is 10.25, and I always advise you to go up half an inch, so it's going to be 9.75, and you connect it all the way around until you reach that point, and then you take the rest of your measurement, which is 40.25, all the way this way. But because I do not have the space, I can fold like this to help me with the space, right? I could fold like this to help me with this space. It doesn't matter, soulmate. If you fold 20 times this way, the radius will still, and the length will still be the same. Okay? I'm just doing this because my space is very small. Okay? My space is very small. So all I'm going to do is now take the radius. It's gonna work out the same way. And I'm gonna take my length, which is 40.25, make it this. And then take your radius, which is remember I told you to always take half an inch away. That way it's not too big. And then I'm gonna cut this out. So this is the front. This is the front of the skirt. It's a quarter circle. So I'm gonna use this now to cut the back. So since this is the front, all right, I'm just gonna fold it and put it on the back and cut off the back piece because I want the side seam. That's why I did it this way. See? See that? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the back. I want the back to have 1 inch of zipper allowance. Okay, so I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna open the back where the zipper is gonna be. There you have. So this is the front and this is the two back. So you notice it has the side seams right here. See? You have side seams, so I could add pockets. And this is what you have, guys. Now on the picture, the side, one side is higher than the other, but my mom doesn't want it that way. All you do is determine how much you want to be taken off, how much you want that side to be, and cut it the exact length. Then you take your marker, your chalk, and you measure and lance it back in the hem right here. Okay, take it all the way, lance it back into the hem, so you'll have one side being shorter than the other side. So this is what we're gonna have. I'm just gonna cut out my pockets for this. Okay guys, we're about to sew the dress together. So the first thing I am going to do is, remember I told you for this part, for the yoke part, you are going to take a piece of fabric just like this, so as to line this part of it, this little part right here, the slit part. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm gonna take this off, and right sides facing each other. So this is the right side. You're gonna put it together like this, and you're going to sew with your 1/2 inch seam allowance the slit that is here. So I'm gonna do that now. So this is the slit part. All right, so guys, I've done 2 strips of this fabric. One is I'm gonna use for the tie at the front, and the other I'm going to use it for the ruffles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this over, the end of this. I don't think I'm gonna make it so wide because I don't want the ruffles to be too long. So I'm just going to, this is just 3 times the amount of fabric of the front right here, 3 times this amount. If you don't want it to have so much ruffles, you could just do 2 times, but this is 3 times this amount. Alright guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna run some gathers on this. So I went ahead and I ironed it. I'm going to just run some gathers here. You could use a sewing machine to do this step, but just run some gathers using your needle and thread, so it's gonna look something like this. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take the darts out. So all these darts, I'm gonna take them. So I went ahead and I did the ruffles on this part. I didn't want them to be so close. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just sew down the ruffles, and then this is what you're going to have. Okay, so I'm gonna sew down the ruffles just to let them stay. Okay, soulmates, so now that you've attached this part on it, you're going to sandwich the yoke part on it. So this is what you're gonna have, right sides facing each other. So this is my right side. You're gonna sandwich it, put it in, pin it down, right? Pin it down. you're gonna take your 1/2 inch seam allowance. Oops. So this is what you're going to have. You notice I stopped it a little bit here so that I could actually put my sleeve in. So that's what you want. And this is what it's gonna look on the side. So now we're gonna work on the back. Now soulmates, I'm gonna attach them at the shoulders. Now I'm gonna attach the sleeves. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I attached the pockets to the lower part of the dress. This is it. And now I'm going to attach the upper part to the lower part. So what I did, I went ahead and I pinned the bottom part to the lower part, and then I'm just gonna attach both of them at the sides. So that's what I'm gonna do now.